Welcome to Canadian Football League Weekly, presented by the World of Football. Each week, we recap the games played up north in the CFL, and we also look ahead to next week's game. Our mission here is to educate American football fans on the teams and players in the CFL in the hope that you will come to love this league as much as we do. I'm Randy Snow, and I'm joined by my son, Adam.
Hi, yep, I couldn't figure out what to do with my hands, so I was just trying to play along.
Yeah, I had some good games in the CFL this week.
A
All
lot of
things to talk
lot of
about.
fantastic highlights.
Yeah.
Holy smokes! If you want to see kick returns, punt returns, interception returns, fumble return, everything this week.
And that was all in one game.
Yeah. I mean, across all the games, there was something.
Yeah.
Like, you got something exciting in every single game. It was awesome. While the NFL season's back, everybody, Canadian football has been here. We've been loving it. We've been speaking the great word of the Canadian game from the Great White North. It's awesome. Season's in mid-swing. You guys can still hop on. Now's the time because everything's getting good. There's so much interesting stuff to talk about. I'm going to throw it back to you to lead us on our journey through the Great White North as we talk CFL football.
Yeah, I was going to say that if you were watching CFL football this past week, you were seeing a lot better football than what you saw in the Hall of Fame game, and we ought to know. We'll talk about that later, but yeah, the CFL is playing some great football.
Fantastic.
All right, let's talk about the scores from Week 9 in the CFL. On Thursday night, it was the Ottawa Red Blacks over the Calgary Stampeders, 31-11. Calgary took an early 3-0 lead, but Ottawa led 17-3 at halftime. A rouge was the only score in the third quarter by Calgary, and Ottawa outscored Calgary 14-7 in the fourth quarter for a big upset win at home. Man, I didn't see this coming. I mean, I know Calgary's starting quarterback did not play, but I thought they'd play a little better than this because they're one of the better teams in the East or in the West.
Yeah. PJ Walker, former UFL quarterback, or XFL quarterback, getting the start here. I mean, when you look at his stats, I mean, there's some blemishes in there. You wouldn't think it'd be that big a deal, but at the end of the day, I also got to give credit to Ottawa. Ottawa, they came off of the bye. They definitely came out with something to prove, and boy, they look tough. I swear, like when I was watching this game, sitting at the Hall of Fame game, watching this game on my phone, Ottawa was hitting, man. This is like real football. I almost wanted to stand up and like tell everybody sitting behind me, like, see this? This is real football. What we're watching is practice football. This is real. But no, this is the Ottawa team I thought I would see from the beginning of the year. And I don't think it's too little too late. Maybe this is a good time for them to start getting their act together. But let's talk about some stats real quick. Or did you already go through the?
Yeah, I only had the one game. I only had the one game note, and that's Vernon Adams didn't play.
Oh, okay.
He suffered a head injury 2 weeks ago. They thought he was going to come back next week, or last week, but they said no, you better keep him out a little longer.
Yeah. So for Ottawa, quarterback Drew Brown was 19-27 for 225 yards. He threw for 2 touchdowns and an interception. Running back William Stanback carried the ball 13 times for 52 yards, and wide receiver Eugene Lewis had 5 catches for 110 yards, and his teammate Justin Hardy, wide receiver, had 4 catches for 62 yards and 2 touchdowns. On the other side of the ball, that Calgary team, like we mentioned, quarterback PJ Walker under center this week. He went 20 of 37, so threw the ball 37 times, passing for 273 yards, a touchdown, and 3 interceptions. Yeah. Not a good thing. Wide receiver Dominique Rhymes had 4 catches for 103 yards and a touchdown. Yeah, 3 interceptions are killer. I think a couple, I can't remember, there were some deflections in there, but man, there were just some badly placed balls, and those Ottawa defenders were just in the right place at the right time, and they capitalized on it, and they definitely killed a couple of those drives that Calgary looked like they were starting to put together, and then just, bam, right in the red zone, they were able to snag up those INTs. So if you're Calgary, I'm not hitting the panic button just yet. They still got a decent team there. They just got to, I don't know if it was a psyche thing, oh no, our starting quarterback's out, but I think they could be fine without a Vernon Adams for a couple weeks. But we'll see what happens. You'd hate to see them start sliding after their great start to the season.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the Friday night game. which saw the Winnipeg Blue Bombers defeat our beloved Toronto Argonauts 40-31. Winnipeg was up 14-7 after the first quarter, and they extended their lead at halftime to 31-13. Winnipeg still led by 10 points at the end of the third quarter, 34-24, and Winnipeg added a pair of field goals in the fourth quarter for the 40-31 home win. These, to me, this was the highlight package of the week. This was it.
I
It
can't
was
go that
really good.
far, but this was a good game. I mean, Toronto mounted a bit of a comeback there, in the third quarter. And I thought maybe they'd have it. I was like, okay, it's a game now. For a while there, I didn't think they had it, but Arbuckle buckled up, and he threw some nice passes. I loved Coxie, the wide receiver.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I thought they might have a chance to have a nice miracle comeback, but man, that Winnipeg team, when they had to put that game away, they did. They hit real tough. That crowd, what was it? Their 9th straight home sellout.
Yes.
For this game, like unbelievable. And then they snapped a 3-game losing streak also after playing the Argonauts last week too, by the way. So back-to-back Grey Cup rematch.
Yep.
And Winnipeg, this is the team you would think of them being when you think of the Blue Bombers. But I don't know. Toronto still got a lot to figure out. They can't fall into a hole like that. And with a backup quarterback, with Chris Streveler, taking the reins for a bit while I want to say Castronova.
Davis Alexander. No, I'm sorry.
Davis Alexander. No, that's not right either. I'm thinking of
Zach Collaros.
Zach Collaros. It was a C. I knew it started with a C. But when he was out, I was like, yeah. I mean, Streveler could be very serviceable. I don't know for long stretches, but for a game, he had to play the last couple games. So last week he was iffy. This week, a lot better. He was throwing some very sharp passes. But it helps when your defense steps up the way that this Winnipeg defense did this week. We'll talk about some of their stats here in a second. But I want to talk about some offensive stats. Again, Chris Streveler, quarterback for the Blue Bombers, 17 of 21, 173 passing yards, no touchdowns, but he did throw 3 interceptions. You hate to see that, but obviously those interceptions didn't end up costing them the game. It just gave Toronto a bit of life. He also ran for 25 yards and did have a rushing touchdown. Running back Brady Oliveira ran the ball 17 times for 50 yards, and wide receiver Nick Dembski had 5 catches for 67 yards. And our favorite stat to keep track of is the kicker stat. Sergio Castillo kicked 4 field goals during this game, the longest of which was 49 yards for the Blue Bombers. On the other side of the ball, our Argonauts quarterback Nick Arbuckle was 22 of 39, 327 yards passing. So he won the passing battle, lost the game. Imagine that. If we had $1 for every time that stat came up. He threw for 2 touchdowns and an interception. Wide receiver DeMonte Coxie had 9 catches for 197 yards. This dude was a big play machine during the game. Did I say 2 TDs? He got 2 TDs. And then again, the kicker. Let's talk about him. Lyram Haralahu kicked 3 field goals during this game, the longest of which was from 44 yards.
Yeah, the defense in this game was something else for Winnipeg. The offense didn't do that much for Winnipeg. It was the defense that really did well for them. Now, Toronto defensive back Cameron Judge did have a pick 6 for a touchdown. That was 47 yards in length. But the Winnipeg defense had 3 touchdowns in this game. Defensive back Trey Vaval had a kickoff return for a touchdown in the first quarter of 93 yards. And he also returned a punt for a touchdown in the second quarter of 97 yards. So he accounted for 2 touchdowns himself. And then defensive end Jay Person recovered a fumble and returned it 28 yards for a touchdown also in the second quarter. So, Streveler didn't have any touchdown passes. He ran for 1, but, the wide receivers didn't have too many. I don't think they had any touchdowns. It was mostly field goals and defensive touchdowns in this game.
Well, it was special teams, I think. You got a punt return and a kick return. That's special teams, Randy. Come on now.
Well, but it wasn't the offense.
True. I think the lone offensive score then was that Streveler touchdown run.
Right.
I think. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm mistaken. But, I mean, when you got 3 touchdowns between your defense and your special teams, carrying the load for you. And those plays were awesome, by the way. Even as an Argos fan, it sucked, to be like crap, like another one. But very impressive that Winnipeg defense came to play. So good for them. heck of a crowd, though. I always admire when the crowd gets into it. And another sellout for them. Kudos to them. This is why they got a Grey Cup this year, or at least they're hosting it. I don't know if they'll play in it, but they're hosting it. That's going to be a great atmosphere.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we get to the last two games, we have a weekly audio podcast called This Week in the World of Football that we've been doing for 8 years. In fact, we're going to have our 8th anniversary show coming up in a couple of weeks. And this week's episode is going to be episode 405. And here's a couple of things that we're going to be talking about on our podcast. We're going to be talking about the championship game matchup being set in the Arena League. We've got some playoff games that were played in the Indoor Football League. And we're going to recap our trip to the Pro Football Hall of Fame to see the Lions play just last Thursday. We drove down there on Thursday, spent the night around Cleveland, and then came back the next day. So it was kind of a whirlwind trip, but it was a lot of fun, and we just posted a video on that. So check that out on our YouTube channel.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I was just going to say we got a video up, but I'm sure we'll talk. We got more stories about that game, and we'll probably go into something else that happened that's Canadian football related here in a little bit at the Hall of Fame, so other than me watching the game on my phone. We'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah, go check out our podcast, wherever good podcasts can be found, and right here on this very YouTube channel.
That's why we're called the World of Football, because we talk about it all and everything kind of intersects from time to time. But anyway, let's continue on with the last two games of the weekend. They were both on Saturday. It was the Hamilton Tiger Cats over the Edmonton Elks, 28-24. Hamilton led 14-7 after the first quarter, and the score was tied 14-14 at halftime. The score was also tied 21-21 at the end of the third quarter. Edmonton took a 24-21 lead with 8 minutes and 39 seconds left in the game, but Hamilton came back and scored a touchdown with 2 minutes and 1 second left in the game and held on for a 4-point road win. I was so hoping that Hamilton would win that game, but wow.
This was my highlights of the week. I have been thoroughly enjoying watching these Tiger Cats play, because you think that somebody's got them beat and then they find a way to win. This makes it their 6th straight win for the Tiger Cats. Watch out for them. They're getting hot. Maybe it's a little too early in the season for them to be getting hot, but they are looking great right now. And Bo Levi Mitchell passing Doug Flutie for 9th place on the CFL's all-time passing yardage list is incredible. So congratulations to him. I know you love you some Doug Flutie, and so to be even mentioned in the same breath as Doug Flutie is quite an accomplishment for Bo Levi Mitchell.
Yeah, this was the 6th straight win for Hamilton. The Elks
already
committed,
said that.
But the Elks committed 3 turnovers in this game. Hamilton only committed 1. And I wrote this down in my notes, but the Hamilton quarterback, Bo Levi Mitchell, passed Doug Flutie for 9th place on the CFL all-time.
Said that already, too. I read your notes ahead of time.
With 41,574 yards is what he's got now. He's like a couple hundred yards
impressive.
ahead of Doug Flutie. Yeah. There was also a 1 hour and 15-minute delay due to lightning with 30 seconds left in the third quarter. So had to wait a little while to get the game finished up. But yeah, I do think that Hamilton is a team to watch this year. I mean, they haven't won a Grey Cup since 1999, and every other team in the CFL has won a Grey Cup since 1999, except Hamilton. And boy, oh boy, it's beginning to look like this just might be their year.
It's starting to feel that way. Like I said, it's still. I mean, it just got done with week 9. To me, that's still a little early in the year, but I mean, if they can keep this up, I'm not saying keep the winning streak up, but as long as they can consistently still look good, and if Bo Levi Mitchell stays healthy, and he's got a couple of great receivers, that are, catching the ball for him, between Tim White and some of those other guys they got on that roster, this could be the team to watch out for. And let's talk some stats real quick. Bo Levi Mitchell, speaking of, 30 of 42. Passing 350 yards and 3 touchdowns during this game. Running back Greg Bell ran the ball 13 times for 55 yards and a tutty. Wide receiver Keandre Smith had 7 catches for 138 yards and a touchdown, while wide receiver Tim White had 7 catches for 78 yards and 2 touchdowns. Edmonton quarterback Cody Fajardo looked great in another start for the Elks. They might have found the guy right now to lead this particular team. They just got to get over the hump. They just got to clean up a few things.
Yeah.
But He was 20 of 25, 257 yards passing, a touchdown, and an interception. Running back Justin Rankin, can we talk about him for a second? He ran the ball 12 times for 69 yards and a touchdown. Rankin also led the team in receiving with 7 catches for 64 yards and a touchdown. I want to stop right there because Justin Rankin is a guy who has seen his fair share of, other outside NFL football. He was with the Bismarck Bucks of the Indoor Football League in 2001, the Frisco Fighters of the Indoor Football League in 2022. 2021, he was with the Bismarck Bucks. 2023, he was with the Bay Area Panthers of the Indoor Football League. And then now here he is in the CFL, and this dude was a beast. And I'm not just saying that because we got a friend who's interviewed Justin. That's a great interview, by the way. Go over to our buddy's channel, Off the Wall, to go see a great interview with Justin Rankin. But I'm watching this game, and he is just popping fools. He's just like nothing ever happened. You compared him to what
AJ
running back
Ouellette.
was it? AJ Ouellette. You compared
Yes.
him to that, and he was playing so good. He could do about everything for you, and he's making a name for himself in the CFL after spending 3 years in the indoor game. It's awesome to see, him up here in the CFL making a name for himself and looking imposing doing it. I just want to throw him some love. Justin's looking awesome up there.
Yeah, it took 4 or 5 guys to bring him down on many plays. He just would not stop, and he was always going forward when he did get tackled. So he just had an awesome game, and he's done that the last couple of weeks now.
Yeah, there are a couple of plays where he just 3 or 4 guys trying to tackle him, and then he goes through them. He goes out of bounds. All those other guys fall to the ground, and he's just standing there like, all right, what's up? It was awesome. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of Justin. To continue on, his teammate running back Javon Leake had 129 kickoff return yards in this game and 69 punt return yards, as well as 26 rushing yards, for a total of 224 yards in this game. It is absolute insanity that is what happened. But I mean, Edmonton, despite not getting the win, they got a lot of players and they got a lot of stuff to build on. They just have to get it all connected. They had a shot in this game. They had a chance to win this game. And the Ticats just have found ways to win, and the Elks just keep finding ways to lose, but they have the pieces.
Yep.
I think Fajardo is your starter right now. That's your best bet. I like Trey Ford. If they can move him to get something, maybe they need something to add a piece. Can you trade for Trey Ford to get something? I don't know. We'll see what they end up doing. I get wanting to keep him around, but at the same time, Trey Ford hasn't won you much. And I hate saying that because he's a talent. Yeah. And I have no beef with him.
Yeah, we really like Trey Ford.
We really like Trey Ford. But, I mean, if Fajardo's he almost got the results. Like I said, you just got to get the rest figured out. Maybe they're still figuring it out. But I'm pulling for the Elks. It's just, man, the Ticats, though, Ticats just keep winning.
Yep, they're still humming. Let's see. The last game on Saturday was the Saskatchewan Roughriders over the Montreal Alouettes, 34-6. Saskatchewan was up.
Did anybody check in on Tim Capper after this one? I haven't talked to him in a few days. Is he all right?
I think he's doing okay, but that was tough for him to watch, I'm sure. Saskatchewan was up 7-0 after the first quarter, and they were up 18-3 at halftime. Another game delayed by lightning in the second half. I think it was 25 minutes towards the end of the third quarter that this one was delayed. Saskatchewan led 28-6 after 3 quarters, and they cruised to that big 34-6 win. Like I said, the second half delay, and that's why I'm wearing the Saskatchewan Roughriders shirt today. But there's also another reason. When we were at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, we got to meet Larry Dean. We just saw this guy walking around with a Saskatchewan Roughriders shirt on, and we said, "Hey, how you doing?" And we talked for a few minutes. Come to find out, it was Larry Dean, a former player for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and he's now the player personnel coordinator for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And it's kind of cool meeting him. We talked for a few minutes.
Yeah.
He's a really nice guy. And just another connection that the world of football has made. You're at an NFL game, you meet somebody from the CFL. It's wild.
We're not trying to, we're not trying to brag. I mean, it was just really cool. Like you said, I just happened to notice a guy with a Saskatchewan hat, I think, or a shirt at first. I was like,
Sure.
interesting that you're wearing a CFL stuff here. That's pretty awesome. And we got to chit chat, and I was like, oh, and I see you got the hat too. And then eventually, he says that, and just pretty cool. You never know who you're going to run into. It's awesome to see. It is the Pro Football Hall of Fame for a reason. I think the
Right.
Pro Football Hall of Fame forgets that
Right.
there's more than just the NFL out there.
Yeah.
That's a side conversation for another day. But no, it was cool meeting him. He was super nice, and he was really gracious to just sit and chit chat with a couple of schmucks who were just like, sir, we do happen to have a YouTube channel, and just Dad gave him a business card, we get a business card. You never know who you're going to network with, and it was really cool. He was really friendly. And I told him straight up, I would love to go up to see a Saskatchewan game one of these days. That's one of my next CFL goals. So I got the Saskatchewan. I want to go to their stadium and see a game there. And now I kind of want to go to Winnipeg to see a game. Like that crowd with all the sellouts, that place has got to be nuts.
Yeah.
That's like my next place after that. But
Yeah.
God, I love the CFL. Everybody's so nice.
All right, you want to get into the
All right,
stats, or shall I read those?
Yeah, I'll get the stats. All right.
All right.
So Saskatchewan quarterback having a tremendous year. Trevor Harris, he went 19 of 27 during this game. He threw for 289 yards. And he had 2 touchdowns during this game. Running back A.J. Olette ran the ball 15 times for 74 yards. Wide receiver Dante Myers had 5 catches for 136 yards. And here we go. Here's a kicker stat, everybody. Brett Lothar made 4 of 5 field goals, the longest of which was from 48 yards. On the other side of the ball, Montreal quarterback McLeod Bethel Thompson, not as great a day. 15 of 26 for 126 yards passing, no touchdowns, and an interception. Wide receiver Tyler Sneed had 7 catches for 88 yards, while kicker Jose Maltos Diaz had 2 field goals from 56 and 54. Last week he hit that 58-yarder. So dude's got a leg.
Yeah,
And,
sure does.
Yeah, so unfortunately, their only scores came from the leg of Jose Maltos.
Yeah, 2 field goals over 50 yards, and so that's 3 straight field goals he's made of over 50 yards in the CFL. That's pretty darn impressive.
It's pretty impressive, but I mean, doesn't really help you win a whole lot of games unless it's that game winner like he had.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, last week it was the game winner, 58 yards. Which I think was a new team record at the time.
So, hey, it's always good to have a good kicker, no matter what league you're in.
Yes, kicking is even more important in the CFL. You've only got 3 downs, so 2 plays, you don't get anything. Kick a field goal, at least get some points, and then kick off again. So anyway,
I'd argue it's more important to have a good kicker in the arena game.
Well, this ain't Arena Football League Weekly. This is CFL Weekly.
I know it's not. I'm not saying it's unvaluable in the CFL. I'm just saying if you're going to have the discussion of where's a kicker more valuable, I would say arena football. Second might be CFL.
Yeah. All right, and then on bye this past week was the BC Lions. So looking at the standings in the CFL after 9 weeks, in the East Division, it's the Hamilton Tiger Cats at 6-2, the Montreal Alouettes at 5-3, Toronto Argonauts at 2-6, and the Ottawa Redblacks are now at 2-6. Over in the Western Division,
Eastern Division has got to shape up, Randy. If they want to get 3 teams in the playoffs, they better start shaping up.
Yeah. Let's see. Over in the West, it's the Saskatchewan Roughriders, the best record in the league right now at 7-1. Calgary Stampeders at 5-3. Winnipeg Blue Bombers at 4-3. BC Lions at 3-5, and the Edmonton Elks at a disappointing 1-6 this season.
Yep.
All right, moving on to next week's games. In Week 10, it starts out on Thursday night, BC at Hamilton. On Friday night, it's going to be Edmonton at Montreal. And then 2 games on Saturday again next week, Ottawa at Toronto and Winnipeg at Calgary. 2 of those games are going to be on CBS Sportsnet here in the States. That Thursday night game between BC and Hamilton and the Saturday night game between Winnipeg and Calgary. You'll be able to catch those here in the States on CBS Sportsnet. The other 2 games, you can catch them on CFL Plus. All you got to do is pull out your laptop or your phone and go to CFL.ca, sign up for their free service, CFL Plus, and you can watch the game streaming on your phone for free, your laptop. All you got to do is give them like your email address and your name and your zip code, and boom, you're in. It's great. It's a great service for watching the game. All right. Anything else that you want to talk about before we leave?
Well, I was going to ask. I've been trying to get used to asking you. What's the game? What is your game of the week? What's the one you're circling right now that you want to plop down on the couch and watch?
Well, let's see. I don't know. I think Winnipeg, Calgary should be pretty good. That's they're fighting to stay behind Saskatchewan in the West Division, so I think that one would be definitely worth watching. What about you?
I think I'm gonna go right now. I originally was kind of leaning towards BC versus Hamilton, but I think I'm gonna go with that Friday night game on CFL Plus, the Edmonton Elks at Montreal Alouettes. Now, sorry, Tim Capper, this might be the game that Edmonton gets that other win, especially the way Montreal played this past week. I don't know. This will be a game. If Edmonton can get this one, I will say they have finally moved into the right direction. But if they lose to the Alouettes, I mean, Alouettes aren't a terrible team, but I just think that Edmonton can pounce on a team that's kind of been down because their starting quarterback's been hurt. They got a backup in. I mean, not that McLeod's a bad quarterback. McLeod's had a rough, couple of games out of the 3 he started this year. So I mean, I don't know. I'm looking at maybe Edmonton making a little noise during this game. Maybe not making everybody go, "Oh, this is a different team," but at least okay, Edmonton's back in the win column for a change. They got the players to do it. I'm just very curious about how that's going to shake out. Because they're both teams that need wins.
You're right. Okay, well that's it for this show. Tune in again next week when Adam and I will review all the games played up north of the border. We'll be here through the CFL regular season, the postseason, as well as the 112th Grey Cup, which will be played in Winnipeg on November 16th this year. You can check out highlights of all the games we just talked about and all the games this season in the CFL at cfl.ca/videos. You can get individual game highlights and play highlights. They got a ton of them. They do a really good job of putting together a package of about 10, 12 minutes the entire game. Really, really good job at doing that.
Yeah.
If you need help picking out a team, we can help you with that. We want you to really find out just how much fun this league really is. And if you have a team to be invested in, it makes it more fun. Let's see. If you have any questions about the CFL, you can ask them down in the comments of this video. If we don't know the answer, we know folks in Canada who can get that answer for you. All right. So remember, folks, some people may love football more than we do, but nobody, and I mean nobody, loves more football than Adam and I sitting here in Kalamazoo, Michigan, talking about the CFL. Until next time, I am Randy Snow.
And I'm betting if you're going to a preseason game in the NFL this month, get the CFL Plus, watch the CFL game while you're there, because if that game's the snooze fest you're at, you got CFL football to lean back on. I would highly recommend.
All right, we'll see you all again next week, somewhere around the 55-yard line.